Hey everyone, it's Dinah, and we are back with more of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the penultimate episode, this time, episode 21 of season 5. So last time we had a power-hungry and somewhat kind of like influenced and power crazy kind of Talbot, powered by the Gravitonium. He was crushing people left and right. I think he crushed one of the dudes from the council of the Confederacy. Finally put an end to Hale as well. So he was just crushing people left and right. It's like a massive show of display and like a display of power and everything. And he got like a new suit as well. Like the Confederacy actually hooked him up with like a new suit and like a new hairdo, and he became. I mean, I've been thinking what I would name him, and I think what feels obvious is like something like Gravitor or Graviton, like in like short for like a Gravitonium short and Graviton. But then to me that just feels like a Power Rangers kind of villain, like like a Graviton versus the Power Ranger or something. So I don't know. Graviton feels obvious, like if you shorten down Gravitonium, then yeah, Graviton. Don't know if you know if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is actually, brave enough or bold enough to actually go there. But, I think it's one that I came up with pretty easily, but then because of that, I thought, you know what, maybe we can actually do better than that. But I don't know. Don't even know if there are any actual. I never even actually stopped to consider, like, maybe, like, this could actually be one of the kind of, like, lower tier kind of villains, or, like, maybe more kind of, like, mid tier kind of villains from the comics that is able to be adapted into something like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Because then they've done that before with plenty of other characters, and it's worked out in their favour. So this could just be yet another one of them and stuff, and maybe even either a backstory given to Talbot, or maybe even Talbot maybe he could be like an actual kind of character from the comics that they've adapted, maybe specifically for the show or something. So I don't know. I didn't really didn't really consider that until now. So it could work either way. But yeah, he hasn't been given a name yet, but I think they're kind of working through it and everything. So this episode and next episode, I think arguably should be his biggest and baddest. I think the last one seemed to be him really kind of settling into being this new kind of Gravitonium powered Talbot, who's now in league with aliens and has no qualms and no kind of hesitancies, like reluctancies. I guess I don't know words anymore. About dealing with aliens and working with them and everything. But then he suddenly has a huge distrust of or like a somewhat more kind of amplified distrust of Coulson and Shield and everything, and even threatened to kill Coulson in front of May and Daisy and everything, and then took in May, Daisy, and Coulson as prisoners of war and everything. So he still does want to protect the Earth and save the Earth, but he wants the glory of that. He wants to use his own power, his own way, and save the Earth his own way, and actually save it by himself and everything, and then maybe actually have the Confederacy alongside him as fellow powered kind of people and powered aliens and everything. So yeah, like to begin with, he kind of refused to kind of like mostly refused to cooperate alongside people with powers, and now he's become one himself, and then he has no problem flaunting it, or even even instigating some kind of like a dictatorship with these powers and everything, like making everyone kneel, even making Coulson kneel too. He's a big fan of making people bend the knee, so he's like a Gravitonium Talbot is on a power trip and he's enjoying it. So we'll see how far it takes him, and who else kind of gets affected, especially negatively, by this power trip and everything. So I mean, I wonder if maybe bringing his family back into the mix might do. Like maybe if he actually bring his wife and son back in, maybe I'll actually get them to reach out and actually reach into him and actually bring out the Glenn that they know and love again, or if he might actually go so far as to just kind of squelch them up or something. I think he would, because then he's fought for so long to actually kind of like have them back in his life again, and for things to be normal again. So I don't know if he actually would, but who knows? With this new Talbot, who knows? I don't think anybody does. So Daisy came back from her mission from Tony Kane's lead, and she brought back Jiang's bones and stuff. So inhuman DNA mixed with the centipede serum was what Garrett used and everything, while having butchered Jiang and used her powers to give himself like an extended lifespan and everything. So that was the key. So then that kind of could be the key to saving Coulson too. So yeah, I mean, more than anything, looking forward to Daisy and May actually giving him the information that they've actually found, so actually kind of presenting him with this kind of concoction of centipede serum, which is already a concoction in itself, combined with inhuman DNA, but specifically an inhuman that actually kind of did have the ability to slow down her aging for a select kind of number of centuries and everything. So yeah, because I mean, I'm not really sure if we have actually explored exactly how old Jiang was. Because I think she looked. I don't remember them de-aging her for that flashback scene we saw where Whitehall was already old as fuck. Yeah, I don't know if we ever actually going to manage to pinpoint exactly how old she was, like if she actually was up to the lifespan of Logan or what happened, but I don't know. But yeah, so then that is the newest kind of serum they come up with. And I think she even had she even had Simmons investigating too, like top priority, next to investigating the pumped up heart of the Remorath warrior and everything. So, and we had an Infinity War reference too, about Thanos and his. I think the first time I heard it, I think I might have misinterpreted the line or misheard the line. I think looking back into the episode, I think Tarion. We also met Tarion too, the master of the House Cassius. So Thornak and Cassius' dad, so he came in to really cement the family lineage into the present day and everything. And then he had a line saying like Thanos and his forces have already begun your assault. So I think at that point that like the kind of the tense and everything of that line actually implying that Thanos had actually already attacked Earth. So then New York would have happened, maybe Wakanda would have happened too, because then Wakanda happened like soon enough after that. So yeah, I mean, yeah, again, that all takes place within the same day. New York and Wakanda take place in the same day, and the snap happens, you know, maybe like an hour or two after the Wakanda attack happens, you know, or like half hour or anything, you know, if the movie kind of scene placements or anything to go by. So I mean, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, depends on how far like into Infinity War last episode happened and then this episode happens, and we have one more episode after this, so don't know exactly how they plan on spacing these kind of like events like in connection apart and everything. So I don't know. I don't know. Like the closer we get, the more wide I actually am to see anyone get dusted. Because it's like on the one hand, it's like, oh cool. So now we're actually connecting to the movies, and when we can see how the snap affects them and see someone getting dusted. But it's like, oh no, now who actually might get dusted or something. So I don't know how to deal with any of this. So I'm just here to, you know, just not deal with stuff and then fail to actually deal with any emotions that might come my way. So I don't know, but the Thanos thing did happen. I think the way they work now, I think that is essentially the way that Talbot was going, because I think as soon as they mentioned it, you know, Kovas and Tarion then specified that not only did the Confederacy never not only did the Confederacy ever have not only did the Confederacy never. I'll get there. Hold on. So like, not only did the Confederacy never have any ability or intention of dealing with any fight that might come Earth's way, but now they especially can't because Thanos is just too powerful. And I think even in the movie, that's what Bruce says too, even with the space and power stone, he's already as powerful as he is. So, but as far as I'm aware, because that's the current threat setup, I'm pretty sure even Talbot is actually on his way to actually try and save the Earth from planetary destruction by Thanos. But then we know that Thanos doesn't quake the Earth apart, he just wipes out half the population. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what kind of battle does ensue and exactly like you know, like how the information actually gets spread around among the team and everything. So then we had some other tidbits like Mac and Fitz's kind of conversation and like their discussion on like morality and the simplicity and complexity of dealing with Ruby and that whole situation, and how Fitzsimmons dealt with it, as well as how dealt with it too, so that was interesting. And then Deke and Daisy, we had like a small scene between them. Like Deke actually did the lemons. He actually tried leaving like a pile of lemons. I feel like the presentation was also a bit off that. I feel like if he actually did put it in a bucket with maybe like a little bow, actually put some effort into that, then that would be weird. Because then he just left like a bundle of lemons on her bed. That would look weird to anyone. So I mean, granted, from his time, presentation isn't really as fussed over as much as the actual act of giving some of the lemons. I don't know, but you know, yeah. And also, given all that's been going on, he hasn't really had the greatest amount of time to actually acclimate to to history from his sense, so that's actually what he wants to do. Like, right, once all this is over, he actually does want to spend time getting to know the Earth's culture and getting to know the Earth as it was and everything. So, you know what, he definitely tried, but, you know, Daisy then made it very clear that she was still grieving and, for the most part, in love with Lincoln and everything, so she's not really kind of ready to move on to any sort of relationship, or anything, so... Yeah, Deke and Daisy will never happen, which I don't really know anyone who was expecting it to happen, but now we actually have confirmation that it's nowhere near happening, so yeah. So yeah, I think for the most part that is it. Mostly everything I've covered from the last one, so yeah, on to episode number 21 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5. Let's go.
You deserve better. All Inhumans do something better elsewhere.
Like being caged and forced to fight.
Where are my friends? May.
Like your son made them.
And how do you plan to stop me? With Earth weapons? It's about the gun. It allows the weak to pretend to be strong.
He would love the Wakandans. He would love the Wakandans.
I have several ionizer missiles aimed at your lighthouse right now. If you or your people do anything...
Well, talk about a fair fight. Yeah. One minute he's dissing guns, he's like, well, we have even bigger guns.
We are both about to get everything we need.
God, he looks like General Zod without the kit, without the cloak. He looks so much like General Zod.
Her warning was that trying to save Coulson ends the world. Well, what if we don't just try?
What if you do?
What happens if we actually succeed?
You're saying we break the loop not by allowing someone to die, but by making sure they live?
Yeah, make go for the 100%.
What if all we have to do is not fail?
Yeah, Talbot went for the 100%, you go for the 100% too. Yeah, but
Especially for time.
you need to know exactly what to do and how to do it. Because maybe what if trying means that they tried something other than this and it failed. So maybe this is what they need to do.
No joke. Did you hear that?
Are they back? Remorat's back? Whoa. Oh, Remorats are back, aren't they? Oh, R.I.P. Agent Kim. Oh no, it's Graviton. I'm going with Graviton. I don't care right now. Is he levitating? Like, he literally looks like Agent Zod. General Zod.
The warnings were right.
Oh yeah, New York, the attack. Is that the Infinity War New York attack?
Talk to me. What's going on?
Has to be.
I think he's coming down to you.
Oh, down to Earth. Back to the same title card template again. That's interesting. Back and forth.
I should be reading its signature.
First time we met him.
When he told us about the peacekeeping force he was sending to the hub.
I mean, imagine back then if someone had told us that someday we'd be worried about Glenn Talbot.
I know.
Imagine someone telling him he'd have superpowers one day. That he'd be an enhanced.
People change.
Oh, Talbot's visiting Creel. Why? He doesn't have Gravitonium in... Does he have Gravitonium in him? He connected. Does he have it in him? Or is he going to recruit him? Does he need like a wingman or like a sidekick?
It's good to see you two, sir.
Oh no! Please don't kill Creel. Please don't kill Creel.
The two of us are stronger together.
Is he gonna absorb him? Oh no, he's gonna absorb him, isn't he? He did it to that the other guy on the council.
You still hear the voices? What if I told you
He can quieten them down.
I know how to control them?
Yeah, some people have given me a hard time. Humans are complicated. They disagree. Sometimes it comes to blows. It's a person who risks everything for their friends, even though she lost her limbs. Hypothetically. We fight.
You will come with me, willingly or not.
I'm gonna have to choose not.
Oh, don't tell me they put another inhibitor in her. Don't tell me she has another inhibitor.
Because you're not conscious yet.
It's in her.
Conscious?
It's in her mind.
I'm not a fool. And I have to make sure that you are thoroughly broken in
This is
before you're broken.
telepathic. Oh, she's got a dove. Fuck you, Cassius. Oh, god damn it. Ugh.
Fitz,
Oh, Jesus.
down.
It's good to know. It's really good.
What do you need, Mac?
There must be something you can do to reverse the machine.
Something else that needs fixing.
What?
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Oh, hey, that's what May's here. Whoa. Deke!
Hey guys.
My boy! Saving his great grandparents. I like it.
I'm telling you the truth. This will make everything better.
That doesn't sound sinister at all, does it? Oh. Can he absorb it? Is he just gonna absorb it? Or is he actually gonna...
Peace. So much quieter. This part isn't going to be great for you, Carl. No! But it will be over quickly, I promise.
Oh, he's absorbing Creel. Creel. I never thought I'd be sad to see Creel die.
Thank you, Carl.
He helped you and this is what you do to him?
I wanted him dead. I thought I'd never forgive him.
You and Hunter.
Once he was deprogrammed and once I got to know him, he was a decent man. Glad I had the chance.
Damn, R.I.P. to Agent Kim, R.I.P. to Carl Creel. Who else we saying R.I.P. to this time?
And you have two despicable sons who wear even dumber makeup than you. And they die like cowards stabbed in the back.
Yep. She doesn't need to be the destroyer of worlds. She's Quake.
I'm the destroyer of worlds.
Oh, maybe she's a destroyer of worlds. Yeah, maybe she really is. Whoa, she did it! That's my girl. That's my Daisy. That's my Daisy Bell. She destroyer. Fuck it. She's destroyer of worlds. She's the destroyer of worlds. Okay, that was good. That was a good mental prison break.
We could try the Odium.
On who? On Coulson, you mean?
We could use the centipede serum to deliver it straight into his cells.
You want to give Coulson the Odium? Give him a warrior's boost? So it's either Jiang's DNA or... That was a good shot.
Too quiet in here. What's it say, Deke?
How would I know?
You grew up in a lighthouse.
Well, I don't teach you the language. I can count to 5.
You can count to 5?
You know 5 numbers?
You're in your 20.
0, so no, I know 6 numbers.
I'm amazed you were able to survive.
I found you, didn't I? So I'm doing my job. You're the ones who lost Daisy.
Make sure they don't have any double-digit numbers around here.
This way.
Well, I mean, hey, I'm terrible at maths too, so I'm in no place to judge or talk.
No.
Fight or flight?
Fight.
Fight! Fight Club! Fight Club! Quake Club! Give me that theme. Give me that boss music.
He risked his life to save us from the Remorth.
And then he went on a killing spree. He's in full villain mode.
Yeah,
he's an anti-hero. I'd say he's an anti-hero.
Macbeth?
Is it him?
Hello, George.
He just shows up on the doorstep just like that? Oh, God.
Your dad's a superhero now. Just like those Avengers. And guess what? I even have my own superpowers.
Oh, gosh, don't squelch anyone. Well, you can't deny he's still a family man.
I can even fly. And I don't need a hammer or an iron suit to do it.
You know what? Just for that, I want to see him versus the Avengers. I want to see him versus the Avengers. Yeah.
You ready to go for that flight?
George?
You're going to take him flying,
Why don't
really?
you go up to your room and play so your father and I can talk?
Not now, Carla. We're having fun.
God, the delivery of that was everything. The delivery of that. Yeah. Oh! Oh!
Sorry, George. I can fix it, though.
Oh, you're just a real fixer-upper, aren't you?
You and Daisy get to the Zephyr and go home.
And
Love
Deke.
this plan. Good luck, mate.
You're with me.
I was about to say, she didn't even mention your name, dude.
Yay.
Yeah.
No.
Numbers and...
You're just gonna slow me down, so zip it and get to the...
Oh, they have guns? Proper Philinda kiss. Ah. Our first real Philinda kiss. Yeah, just like, damn, mom and dad are kissing, but there's more hats and everything. Deke in the background too.
Not a word, Agent Johnson. That's an order.
Copy that.
Yeah.
Hot lips.
Hot lips. Very hot lips. Two very pairs of hot lips just smushing. That's the stuff. God. That's cool. He doesn't even need to be there to open the door. Yeah.
Go ahead, cowboy.
He can stop bullets in midair, right? Like Neo. Yeah, just the cars. Oh, jeez, yeah. Oh. Can you make bullets fly faster than they would if they were fired from a gun? Because that would make them more lethal, right? There we go. Has he got his belt? Has he already just got his belt? Oh, nice. Yeah, choke one out. Choke one out. Oh, something, yeah. Whoa. Ooh, nice.
That's navigation.
Holographic visuals. So pretty. I love holographic visuals.
And I plan on doing what needs to be done.
You're not a hero.
George.
Oh, shit.
It's okay.
His own son. Yo, yo. No, it's not gonna work, is it? Oh, God. No. Oh, the metal in her arms. Or like a field, a gravity field around him, preventing her.
I just need to get a little more fuel in my tank first, and then I can do it.
Oh, he needs to refuel.
You keep watching the news, son. You'll see.
Oh, God. Oh, that was a good cut. I thought he was shooting at Coulson and Deke for a second. Oh. Oh, good. Oh, shit. Oh, he's got big blades. Yeah.
I will watch you bleed.
Oh. May versus Kovas. Oh, God.
So, you made out with May.
Did I?
Oh, yeah.
People see what they want to see, I guess.
Oh.
Now you will die.
Did they redirect the missiles?
We changed the target.
Yeah. Where did they change it to? Oh, the Confederacy. Oh, they reboot it
Told you I
back.
didn't need a gun to stop
Yeah,
you.
do like a U-turn. Okay.
I know zero.
You know, 0. Is that how that's the coordinates in space would be 0? Is that it? Goodbye, Kovas. Goodbye, Remorats. Goodbye, Confederacy.
What the hell?
I don't understand.
Whoa. Oh, is it poisoned? Is Remorath blades are poisoned, maybe?
On it.
Oh God, he's bleeding from the choking on blood.
Okay, stay with me.
Oh God. Is it the infection or is it the blades being poisoned? Oh God, spread along his arm too. I mean, the infection could spread, right? I feel like it definitely could spread.
If we can combine the Odium with another dose of the centipede's serum, it should be able to penetrate his cells.
That's not possible.
Oh, so the Odium is for Talbot then, yeah.
There is no more centipede serum. What I brought back, that's the last of it.
Oh. So they either save Coulson or they kill Talbot.
So we either save Coulson
Oh,
or we
fuck.
save the world.
Yeah, or save the world. Oh, fuck. Oh, and Coulson would say save the world. Coulson would so quickly and so easily say save the world. Oh, no. Don't end it there.
What do you want from us?
Polly and Robin? And Robin's there too, right? He wants another picture.
You ever see me tearing the earth apart, bringing something up from the ground?
Oh, so he rips the earth apart trying to bring the Gravitonium up. So he's the so that makes him the destroyer of worlds then. Yeah, at least in this instance. Oh God, fucking damn it! Ugh. The Infinity War references that we had throughout this, like there were at least like 2 or 3 different mentions of like news reports and even the actual news kind of screens. When they showed the news screens on televisions and everything, it said like like destruction and chaos throughout the city and cleanup crews coming in and all that kind of stuff. So I think all the more setting up to at least have the end of next episode and then have the very kind of final minute or so at least be covering kind of Infinity War and all that kind of stuff happening. So I don't know how this is going to end, and I'm scared. I'm really scared. So yeah, I don't know who we might lose, if we might lose anyone, how they might take them away. That kind of like a magnitude of characters dying in such quick succession in the theatre. I was, I wasn't crying, at least not on the first watch, but I was shaking, I was shivering, I was, just sent chills and everything. And this, I've spent so much time with these, with these guys. I think seeing them suffer the same fate, I don't think I'm actually quite ready for that. So season 1 to 3, I feel like, I enjoyed them without a sweat. But I think season 4 and season 5 maybe a bit too. I think season 4 because of the actual story, but I think season 4 because of how much closer connected it is to Infinity War and all that kind of stuff, and how grand that is as well. I wish I could have. I don't regret reacting to the show at all. I think if I did catch it live, I still would have had like a decent chance to react to it too. But then I just wish I was able to catch the show live, because I can only fucking imagine the tension between seasons and the tension between episodes too, actually having to wait a week to find out what the fuck happens next and everything. So there is still that kind of predetermined knowledge that the show itself kind of does go forward in a certain direction and everything. Maybe not knowing that, but actually being aware of that does kind of. I think being aware of it. I think maybe if you focus too much on it, then it does kind of start to influence how you kind of view the show and how you consume the story. Because again, if you watch this fresh and you have no idea what's going to next, and you have no idea what direction they might go in, and especially with them maybe actually not actually releasing any kind of renewal information until close to the end, and actually just actually having to wait to see if this really will be the end or if there actually is another season coming after this, then that can make things all the more tense too. So you live watchers are some of the bravest fuckers out there. You are some of the bravest people out there. I can't imagine actually going through this and going like a week to week, day to day, just wondering what's going to happen, and if we're actually going to have an end to the story, or if there's going to be more to this that we can expect or anything. So I can rest assured knowing I actually have 2 more seasons ahead of me and everything. So I wish I could have actually watched all of this live and kept up with it and everything. I mean, to be fair, I'm this season at least, I've had enough trouble actually kind of keeping things kind of together and keeping things kind of in close enough succession, and that's on me. That's on me. That's my fault. I think maybe the actual tension of actually keeping up with it week to week actually kind of would have probably allowed me to actually kind of keep this far more comfortably paced and everything. So the quantity at which they actually kind of kept up the Infinity War reference too, because then at least 2 characters I think mentioned what was going on in the news, but then every time they actually kind of showed a TV screen, it would be covering what's going on the news, and it would be actually actively covering the destruction in New York and everything. And I think all the more interesting because I think granted in the movie they had a lot to cover, so I think again for the movies a city being destroyed isn't really something they actually cover until Civil War. Civil War covered that kind of stuff, and then that was scrapped, and then the Accord stuff was scrapped, and then Infinity War came and everything was even worse and stuff. So in the movie they never really kind of actually looked into that kind of stuff. So I think in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think that would be a more ideal place to cover it. So I think the fact that they are then is kind of building to me too, oh yeah, the city was actually still attacked and left in rubble. Yeah, I don't know. By the time next episode starts, I don't know how, because I think I do kind of also like that what they're doing is actually interconnecting the Avengers stuff with this, because even with this now, even what Talbot mentioned as well, with actually juicing himself up, he needs to Graviton too, so then that will actually lead to even bigger destruction. So I think it's actually destruction from 2 separate ends of the same kind of corner of the MCU coming into it as well. So the movies will probably be forever obsessed with doing, at least back then they were forever obsessed with doing their own thing, and now they're veering their paws and their claws into television, and now they're doing all their little series and everything, but nothing will ever replace this. Nothing will ever replace Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or the power it held over the television end of the Marvel fandom. So Disney Plus can have as many series as it wants, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., 7 glorious seasons. So just putting that out there. Well, for me, 5, I've still got to experience the other 2, but still, people know where they stand. So S.H.I.E.L.D. is trying to stop Talbot because of how powerful he's growing and how dangerous he's becoming, but then Talbot is still the Earth is under attack and I'm going to be the one to save them. But then they're still maintaining the fact that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. have their own little problem to deal with while the Avengers can actually handle Thanos and everything. But it's like, yeah, part of me does actually want to see the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like, not even in like an actual typical kind of fan kind of way, like a fan service kind of way of like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. joining up with the Avengers and doing what needs to be done. But then it's like, you know, also like actually seeing them take part, seeing them contribute, seeing them contribute something more than anything else would have actually been a good thing, you know. Seeing them still managing to tie in Thanos in this way, like he is still the bigger picture that only Talbot is seeing right now. But then because of how much of a threat he's still posing of his own kind of hubris and of his own kind of prowess and everything, he's still something that S.H.I.E.L.D. needs to stop. So it's interesting. Would this then mean that Talbot was always going to be the destroyer of worlds? Because then, you know, like maybe but then I feel like one lone S.H.I.E.L.D. agent compared to a man very publicly flaunting his power would be like two very different things. Like Daisy doing whatever she does. I think Daisy is a spy and a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent first of all, and everything. So she would know that, you know, like part of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s kind of tactics is to actually stop the enemy quietly, to not cause public hysteria or public crisis or public chaos or anything, you know. So they would very easily try and contain the threat and then eliminate it that way to avoid public kind of knowledge becoming too big or anything like that. Because then unless the thing where it's like I think I had theory before that like she has to fight to stop him or fight to stop something from happening, but then in doing so she might end up destroying the Earth. So then maybe in an effort to use her powers and actually build her powers up, because then especially if he's recharging, because then he did say he captured Polly and Robin too, and then he actually said like you drew a picture of me, you drew a picture of me, and then that involved breaking the world apart too. So then, you know, but then that's because he tries to raise the gravitonium deposits that are left on the ground out, but then that might end up actually breaking the Earth apart because it's buried so deep and because it's probably so massive and everything. But then, you know, he believes that would give him the juice to recharge and actually, you know, warn the good guys to stay out of his way, but then also take the fight to Thanos and try and stop him too. So, you know, Daisy has to stop him from breaking the Earth apart, but doing so might end up actually breaking the Earth apart. So maybe that's the thing too, and maybe containing him conceals away. Because then, if S.H.I.E.L.D. really does try and contain him to prevent public prevent public hysteria and also to prevent further public damage too, maybe containing him conceals him away. So then that way, the only thing the world and the Kree see are Daisy Johnson unleashing her powers, but then she's trying to stop someone else, but then they see it as her breaking the world apart. So maybe that could have been how it really went down. So I don't know. Or maybe he starts it, but then she can't really kind of stop it from happening. So maybe he starts it, and then the Gravitonium's already coming out and breaking the world apart and everything. But then she can stop him, but then she can't pull the Earth back together or anything. So I hate to say it, I really hate to say it, but then Robin dying as a kid would also be something that breaks the loop. I feel, because then if we're talking that like if we're talking in the sense that things that are in the future being prevented from happening, like anything in the future being prevented from happening breaks the loop, then Robin, because then if you know they call it a loop because Yo-Yo's there, but then it's like, you know, like would it really break like a loop, or would it just like create like an alternate path where that's the way it happens? Because then, you know, at least in this instance, it's like there's one main time stream, the one that we experience as the primary kind of show, but then everything else kind of diverges. So what they experience is yet another alternative timeline, but then, you know, I don't know. We have to say goodbye to in this episode, Carl Creel. Granted, Agent Kim died too, but then that was like what I think, given how less pivotal he was to the past couple of episodes he's been in, I think like a passing mention was the very least they could do, but also the only thing they did. So props to that. So R.I.P. to Agent Kim too. But Carl Creel, who's been with us since Season 2 with some gaps here and there too. I think he wasn't in Season 4 at all, just like Season 2, 3, and now Season 5. They did acknowledge the fact that like he did some bad and some harmful shit to the team when he was introduced, but that's because he was under the influence of Hydra, and they were putting the whole compliance will be rewarded crap on him and everything, and they were using him for his power and everything. So that was him acting under their orders, and even back then, like even Mac kind of admitting that he shared kind of Hunter's feelings of wanting to see Carl Creel dead for what he did to Isabel Hartley and everything, and even in Hunter's case, Hartley and Idaho too. Then even Mac actually admitting that like after he actually met him, after he got deprogrammed and he started working for Talbot and everything, then he actually met Creel, and he actually seemed to be like a guy capable and willing to do the right thing. Like he actually wanted to make amends, and he actually wanted to get better and everything. So he actually did have some heart to him. So I think all the while it makes me wonder like how Jack Murdoch thought about him too, like if he actually viewed him as like a worthy opponent, if he was actually like a good sportsman in the field, or if he was actually like a. I did complete my Daredevil season 1 rewatch a couple of months back, and I think from what I remember in that one, I think he was actually his Jack Murdoch's fight in that one, like he was meant to do it differently to how he did it differently to how his bosses wanted it, so then because that he died. But then I do wonder how Jack actually felt about Creel, like if he actually thought he was like a worthy opponent, like a worthy adversary, but then if Creel was actually like a good sportsman about the whole thing too. So, but I think like his actual strength comes from himself. He's just like he's built like an actual brick house, just like Mac is. But then I think his powers come from Hydra having experimented on him and giving him the absorption powers and everything. So they saw like an actual human powerhouse, and then they turned him into like a superhuman with the material absorption stuff, and then they weaponized him and brainwashed him and everything. So to think he actually could have started out as a pretty decent guy, but then he got turned into a weapon against his will as well. I think knowing Hydra, they probably seduced him into it by giving him even more power than he already has and everything. So there's that. So then having to work and then being forced to work for Hydra, but then also being deprogrammed again and actually working with Talbot. So he's had a journey. He's had quite the journey. So he wasn't absorbed like the other council member was. I think he actually turned into Graviton. I think maybe as like his enhanced bodies can kind of reflex upon coming into contact with Gravitonium again. I think maybe this time, and also Gravitonium this time connected to Talbot, which is arguably more stable too. His entire body actually turned into Gravitonium. So then I thought, oh, maybe this time he can actually back out of it and actually be pure Gravitonium and be more stable that way. But then no, but I think then he sensed that something else was happening, and then Talbot admitted like, oh yeah, this next part won't feel great, but it's necessary. So then after that he absorbed Creel too. So yeah, so now Creel's in his head, Hall's in his head, Quinn's in his head, the council member is in his head and everything. So he's building up a literal head count of mental voices and everything. So if they manage to kill Talbot, then that'll be putting an end to all the voices in his head too. That'll be putting an end to Quinn, putting an end to Hall, putting an end to Creel, the council dude, and finally Talbot. So if they actually do manage to kill Talbot, then that'll be the end of like 5 people. So yeah, I need to go back and listen to that line again, because I can't get, like, it was such perfect line delivery, and the line itself, I think it's cheesy regardless, but I think it'd probably be cheesy in any other kind of context or something. I need to listen to it again.
Not now, Carla. We're having fun.
It's such a perfect line. It's like there's like an aggressiveness to it that just fits, and it's like he seems so sincere about it and everything. It's just so good. It's so good. It's like that aggressive. It's like, not now, Carla. We're having fun. Okay, can't you see we're having fun? Don't try and get in the way of our fun. We're about to go fly planes and play Avengers and everything. Just, oh god, it's such a good line. Such a great line. And a perfect line for Gravitonium Talbot. So, but yeah, as he expected, he had like a bone to pick with Carla too. He blamed her for him landing back in S.H.I.E.L.D.'s hands and back in Hydra's hands, and like the whole compliance will be rewarded thing, the speech that she gave him over the phone and everything, and like I think with his son, he wants to be like, I don't think he wants to be forgiven. I think he wants to re-earn the trust that he used to have. He wants to actually kind of be a father to his son again. He wants his son to love him again, and I think he kind of does. He does definitely understand the appeal of superheroes that his son like has tools and everything, and like he does kind of like understand that him being a superhero with all these powers would be so much cooler to his son as well. So he wants to actually appeal to that and actually utilize that kind of affection towards him too. So, and even towards the end too, like he insists that he's a hero and he's gonna stop the bad guys, he's gonna save the day and everything. So I think S.H.I.E.L.D. might see it anyway. The fact that if there's one weakness that Talbot does have, even one, then it's definitely his son. Like his wife maybe slightly less so, but then his son he would definitely kind of work to impress his son, to please his son, to keep his son safe. Like he even said to his son, "I'm never gonna let anything bad happen to you again." So then he feels like, like if he can actually save the Earth as a whole, then that's a bonus. But then if he can save his son from this threat, then that might be the main thing. So, and I think it definitely kind of reinforces the fact that he is like an anti-hero in this too. Like he still wants to save the world. He still sees the world and humanity as his people. He still wants to save the Earth. He still wants to save the people. He wants to protect his son down to his core too. But then I think the anti-heroism of it all is definitely there. Like he doesn't want, maybe because he's now a superhero as well. He kind of sees the Avengers as on his level, and I think he would want to team up with the Avengers if it would impress his son. Like he even compared himself as a superhero to them. Like he said, your dad's a superhero just like the Avengers now, and then that made George smile. So he knows that like pretty much every kid out there, the Avengers are kind of actually appeal to them as a team and as heroes and as idols and everything. So the anti-heroism, I think, definitely kind of is very strongly visible. I think he doesn't want S.H.I.E.L.D. up, and I think he kind of has trust issues with S.H.I.E.L.D. now because they won't submit to his regime or to his kind of power or to his way of doing things. I think he kind of also just kind of has general kind of distrust built towards them because of years of actually working with them so kind of rockily. But then also even Coulson mentioning he spent months waiting for Coulson and for S.H.I.E.L.D. to come and rescue him from Hydra, and it just never happened and everything. And then even Coulson acknowledging that Talbot thought that he actually could save them by going into the machine and giving up this and getting this power. But then I think it's an interesting reversal with Talbot, where it's like the power went straight to his head and actually inflated his ego and actually inflated his kind of his own kind of vision for what he could do and everything. So I think Talbot maybe never fully saw that coming, but maybe in general kind of he thought that he could actually kind of fix any problem that came their way too. So he could fix the Remorath invasion of the lighthouse, but then he could also fix any other problem like the Confederacy or any other kind of issue that would come their way. So he wants to be that kind of one size fits all kind of savior for the Earth with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of behind him and everything. So Deke, apparently he knows 0 to 5. He knows 6 numbers. He knows 0 to 5. He never learned to count. Granted, I think again from what we saw of the future of the humanity in the lighthouse, education isn't something that they didn't want, but they just had no space for everything, so survival was the only thing. But then it's you'd count your credits and everything, and you'd count current, they still had, I'm pretty sure they still had currency, right? Or at least they'd still actually attempt to purchase things or have some kind of actual trading system. And maybe not a completely stable economy, but then they'd probably still have something like that in place, especially dealing with the metrics and dealing with the Kree and everything too. They'd probably have to actually count the dead and count people who they lost and count other kind of stuff. So the fact that he can only count 0 to 5 is astonishing. It's even May's line of wow, it's astonishing that you actually managed to survive that long without knowing more basic facts of life and everything. So yeah, just he never really kind of learned to actually read the language or anything. Which that maybe you can give him pass on, because then he has a more than clear kind of grasp of English, minus a few things from history. He didn't know canary or coal mine last episode, so there was that. He rebuilt the framework. How do you do that without math? He used the old concept. He used the old concept and the old blueprints and everything. He actually found those, and then he put the blueprint back together, and then he put the framework together. He built a new framework for he built a new one for each and every person. He made individual frameworks for individual people. So I don't understand how you can do that without knowing any numbers above 5. That just doesn't make fucking sense to me. I think if Fitz heard, he'd be ashamed and shocked and laughing in Deke's face all at the same time, and then Simmons would probably just be staring at him in shock too. So I don't know. It's just the math ain't mathin'. The math just ain't mathin'. When you think about it. So I think it's a funny enough thing to laugh at. I think again, I'm pretty sure there are those of us terrible at math who also probably can actually kind of share in the kind of the comedy of that too. So again, it's just it is what it is. So there's that. But yeah, again, the math, for me the math ain't mathin'. The math just ain't mathin'. So I don't know. what he was talking about. But yeah, I think there's that. So, but then Zero came in handy. Well, when he was resetting the coordinates for the missiles, I think Zero came in handy. So I think presumably like in space coordinates kind of would match Zero or come closer to Zero than on Earth. So he was able to use Zero as the final one, or like the most important one, and then that kind of made the missiles do like a U-turn and bring them back into the Confederacy ships at the end of Kovas, the end of the Remorats on the ship and everything, besides the ones that Talbot took, and then the end of the Confederacy and all that kind of stuff. But I think Tarian was still somewhere off in the stars, because then I think he was only in Daisy's mind through that thing, so he was still probably back on the homeworld or back on some other ship or something. So I don't know, but either way, and enter the Confederacy, so hurrah. And we got arguably the biggest redeeming moment for Season 4 as well. Season 4 gave us Phil kissing an LMD mate, and then almost immediately afterwards being able to discover that it actually was an LMD, and everything they kissed. There was that, so that was our first Philinda kiss. But now, we had a glorious one. We had a glorious one that turned into slow motion and everything, and perfectly encapsulated the reactions from both Deke and Daisy, like in the middle of actually taking back shots from Remora with the shield and everything. We had Phil so ever so eloquently shutting May up with a nice smooch of both of their hot lips, as Daisy so eloquently dubbed them. I mean, she called him hot lips, but still, we know they both got some pretty hot lips. So yeah, we got a Season 5 gave us our very first official globally presented Philinda kiss and everything, and it was glorious. It's beautiful. When we stared at that for 5 hours or something, that was great. That was absolutely great. That was so good. So good to actually finalize that with this season and everything. So no matter what goes on from here, we will be able to rest in peace knowing that we actually finally got our Philinda kiss properly, like from human to human and everything. Not to say that LMD May could have been a bad kiss. I'm sure she was great, but then this is the human May with the human Phil. So. And just having it in slow motion, to really cement it, like, oh yeah, save it every second of this, every frame, see them, see Mom and Dad of the Bus Kids team actually. Yeah, but I think, then the reactions from Daisy and Deke, I think we didn't see Deke's reaction until the end. I think when they actually finally separated, you just see Deke in the background like, great grandpappy and great grandmammy actually finally kissed too. I never thought I'd see this. And then Daisy's one being caught in the middle. I think Daisy actually coming into slow motion, actually being like, okay, wow, so there's a more shooting, and then Mom and Dad are kissing and everything, so I don't know which one to focus on. Like, I think Mom and Dad are kissing for the first time, great, but then Remorats are there and they're trying to kill her, so then she actually tries to do both and everything, and she's there, so then the entire time Deke's just like awestruck, like, whoa, you guys kissed, that was crazy, and everything, and then Daisy being so smug and being so kind of like, she being glad that she was there and she didn't miss it or anything, so... and then eloquently dubbing him hot lips too, so, she knows. She I think, with the dynamic they have as an actual family, as an actual working family too, I think it's kind of like a refreshing to see that she's not, like, grossed out by it, or that she's not, like, chastising it or shunning it or anything like that. She's actually like, oh yeah, you two kissed, and it was all cute and pretty, and, like, you both, like, were in the moment and nothing else mattered, and it was just you guys in space and stuff with your little hand shield protecting each other and kissing. So, oh god, so good. Thank you, Season 5. If you give me anything, you've given me that. You have given me, hopefully not our only Philinda kiss. So let's all celebrate this glorious moment upon this glorious day. So yeah, what a way to end the year. What a way to end 2022. As I'm filming this now, what a way to end the year with an official Philinda kiss. So yeah, life is good. Life is good. So, what also surprised me was it was actually nice to see Daisy being able and feeling able to reclaim, at least what felt like she was reclaiming the Destroyer of Worlds kind of label and everything. Because then again, I think that name has not served her well either. I think that name very nearly got her killed in the future as well. Depending on whether or not she actually uses that in the next episode, I think maybe in this episode, I think it felt more like she was actually using that as like an actual taunt and everything to show that, like, even without Gravitonium, like her powers alone, like her self-control and her ability to actually break out of her own mind are that, powerful. Like maybe could have even been metaphorical, like even slightly, like maybe like by hijacking her mind and putting her in like an actual bubble of its own where he could converse with her. Like she was like, you know, you think because of that, because then even he said like, you know, people usually break because they start to feel hungry or they want to sleep, like they start to feel all these human kind of natures and stuff, but they can't really kind of but they can't help but succumb. Like there's no other way to actually treat those natures but to succumb to them and to actually kind of like to take whatever kind of Tarian was actually offering and everything, but then her being like, you know, like you know, she's even more powerful out in the real world. So then, you know, like, and then actually using the I'm the destroyer of worlds kind of label before breaking free of that mental kind of prison and stuff they put her in. So maybe she's the destroyer of that kind of world. So I don't know, but maybe she's that much kind of less afraid of that name now, and she's not going to actually let that kind of dictate her future going forward, and she's going to fight to actually save the world and try and keep it intact at the same time. So I don't know, maybe just like a minor kind of little kind of adjustment to exactly what it means to be the destroyer of worlds now. So granted, Talbot might still kind of, you know, like inadvertently give that name to himself based on what he's about to do, but it was still nice to see Daisy breaking free of its kind of more tainted kind of chains and everything. So it was cool. And yeah, I think Fitz kind of raised an interesting a very interesting theory actually, that really kind of stuck with me too. I think he kind of pointed out how like trying to save Coulson was what would actually destroy the world and get them all killed. So trying was where, so then essentially pulling like an actual pulling like a partial Yoda and being like, you know, like a try, like do or do not. There is no try, but then obviously in this case they want to do. They want to save Coulson. So instead of trying and potentially failing, they didn't succeed. So I think, I mean, again, like you say, I think maybe even like the way that the dialogue in that scene was constructed, it kind of leaves you feeling optimistic. But then there is the actual kind of like the kind of logistics of it, which we now know are actually that much kind of more kind of detrimental to their cause, given what kind of stakes they're up against now. We don't try, we save. We work as hard as we can to make sure that this one method we have actually works without fail, like without fault, without fail. Actually works like has like 100% success rate and everything. So I think maybe like that news alone from future Yo-Yo was actually shocking enough for present day Yo-Yo to hear, but then she never actually inquired exactly what they did. I think she never inquired, and then future Yo-Yo never told present day Yo-Yo exactly what they did and what failed and stuff. She just said, I think maybe then seeing what they did fail, leading to the grand scheme of things, maybe kind of left Yo-Yo feeling like, you know, like oh, if we did this and it didn't work, then nothing else would work. So then maybe it didn't really kind of like feel like any other options would actually going to be safe or worth testing. So then overall the conclusion she came to could probably have been, if this doesn't save him then nothing will, so then it's better to just let him die and see how that kind of breaks the loop and everything. So at least a different future. So that was then that then left Yo-Yo believing like, oh, we have to let Coulson die. But then now Fitz kind of thinking like, okay, maybe then what they tried didn't work because then they only tried it and it didn't have like a high enough success rate, or maybe they couldn't follow through with it entirely, so then they never actually enacted the final step or the final stage, or maybe things happened too quickly or something. So now they just need to know exactly what to do and how to do it, so that way everyone's in on the plan and everyone knows exactly what to do and when it needs to be done, so no room for improvisation, and then plan accordingly and have ample space to execute the plan and everything. So again, it sounds nice and leaves you optimistic and it sounds good on paper, but then again the real situation, the real time situation in the real world are full of too many different variables, so I think anything could go wrong, which is exactly one of the reasons I'm kind of all the more worried about the finale too. Because then Daisy said there was no centipede, there was no extra centipede serum, there was only ever what she brought back. But then I was like, can you not just use each individual, does it have to be, because then even in the actual kind of, even in the actual device, in the actual centipede device, I think the serum itself actually looks like it's actually separated into little compartments, because it's crafted to look like an actual centipede, so then there's actually the little kind of like individual compartments, where the serum actually is, where it looks like the serum is stored in, so unless it's actually all delivered at the same time through different pins or whatever, I thought maybe then they could use up the entire serum, but then they could actually take out little bits from each compartment and actually use it. I thought that might be how it worked, but no, apparently they would need to use all of that serum in one go, diminishing all of it, and then if they wanted to actually do to stop Talbot too, then they need extra. So then now, with only one dosage of centipede serum, now they have the ultimatum of all ultimatums on their hand. Now they either save Coulson or as I mean, the way I was thinking about it was actually save Coulson or kill Talbot. But then, of course, as Yo-Yo put it, like you either save Coulson or you save the world. And I think Yo-Yo is already Yo-Yo already knows what she heard in the future, and she already knows what she was actually at least partially working towards in the beginning too, actually letting Coulson die and saving the world. And then now the rest of the team are actually intent on saving Coulson, May and Daisy first and foremost too, and now they have an impossible choice to make, and I think especially more so because I think Coulson himself would just so say he would definitely say save the world, take out Talbot if you need to, but just to save the world, leave me. I think I've already told you I'm happy to die when the time comes, and now it seems like more than ever the time has come and everything, so he's ready to actually kind of go out fighting and to go out actually having died saving the world, or I mean this would just mean he dies from his injury, but then he'd actually die knowing that his team helped save the world, and then he lived in honor of that and everything. So have to try and beat an almost impossible villain with one huge loss down on the team and against almost insurmountable odds and everything. It's just it's one hell of a, again, they're building up all these stakes for a finale, so then they potentially lose Coulson, and then in the wake of that kind of a loss they have to fight Talbot, who's already building his power, and then if they're lucky enough then maybe he actually doesn't power himself up with even more Gravitonium by the time they get to him, so then he'll become even more unstoppable. They already tried to stop him at the house, and even then he was kind of low on power and he needed to juice up, but then still he was able to stop all the bullets and redirect them and lift the cars and everything, so he was able to do that, and he even had an actual gravity force field around him that Yo-Yo couldn't even penetrate or anything, so even at that low power, before he realised he needed to recharge, he was already able to do all of that, so then with even more power, it would just be all for naught. So then in this timeline, it turns out even letting Coulson die might end up actually result in Talbot destroying the world and all that kind of stuff coming to pass. So, but yeah, no, the infections were spreading. So I think then, because then I was also wondering if he actually did get cut with a Remorath blade, maybe then their blades actually do have some kind of poison element to them. So then that way they will obviously try and go for a lethal kill shot and stuff by stabbing you through the chest. But then if they can't, then on their end, an extra added kind of lethal kind of kill shot measure would be if they can only really kind of nick your skin or give you a scratch or something, then make sure that leaves behind something deadly like a poison or a toxin or something. So then if they can't kill you in one shot, then they leave you dying over time. So I thought maybe that might be what it was, but then I think I mean there's no denying it that could also be a factor, but then for the most part his infection I think has actually rendered him that much less immune to even the most basic kind of scratches or cuts or grazes or anything, because I think we never really got a proper look at exactly how bad the wound actually was, if it actually kind of went through him, went through his arm, or if it actually kind of grazed him or what happened. But either way, the infection itself was bad enough that it actually kind of spread and impacted him that much more severely. It's just not looking that good for Coulson. It really isn't. I think Odium then does work ever so slightly, maybe a super-powered cyanide pill, it gives you that boost, but then afterwards it kills your tongue. Because I think maybe then in that case it might be a case of it boosts everything, but then maybe you crash, or maybe it actually drains everything you have afterwards, or maybe it actually pushes your body past its limit to give you the Warrior's boost, but then once you come back your body's no longer stable, so then it shuts down or something. Because then if they give Talbot the Odium, then I wonder maybe if they need to outlast him or maybe contain him and stuff, because then if they give him Odium, then that would probably supercharge him up. But then, I mean, actually, it depends on how Odium would work on a human, because then we've only ever seen it work on Cree and now Remoraths, but then depends on if it actually kind of work the same, even in a similar way to a human. I think that would be an actual Gravitonium charged human and everything, but still, like a human. So either it would work the same way as it did for the Remorath, or because he's human, his body would be that much less immune to any actual negative side effects it might hold or anything. So he might crash faster or sooner, or he might crash even worse. That's not going to be a pretty sight either, actually having to kind of, because then he even told his son to actually watch the news and keep an eye out for him and everything, so that if it's actually going to kill him in public and kill him on the news, then his son's going to have to watch as his own dad dies and shit. So I don't know, it does not look like it's shaping up to be a pretty finale, so I'm preparing myself for that at least. It's not going to be a pretty finale, it's probably going to be emotional and very, very kind of, I don't know what to expect here, but yeah, it's probably not going to end too well, so. But yeah, I think for now, that might be it. That's all I've really written down, and I can't fully think of anything I might have missed out on. If there are any tidbits, then do let me know. And of course, as always, please share your own thoughts on how you any kind of theories you have for like what might be going down in the finale, and any kind of thoughts you had on this episode and how this has all been built up so far. Do feel free to let me know on those too. So we're going to prepare together. We're going to be ready for this together. I'm going to experience this for the first time. You're going to re-experience it with me, and we're going to share any and all emotions that might come our way in the next episode together, and hopefully it will be a fun time and a blast, as it usually is. So yeah, we're ready. This is totally the first someone is ready. So yeah, but either way, yeah, it will be a fun time. The end of season 5. So I think easily without a doubt, my most staggered season, and there's only myself to blame for that. It's been myself and my own very, very fucked up, very, very staggered, very, very kind of all over the place kind of schedule and everything. So I do deeply apologise for how kind of spaced out this particular season's reactions have been. And how how endlessly grateful I am that you guys have all been patient and still, hopefully coming back here and everything, and actually still managing to catch reactions and everything. But yeah, so this leaves me with 2 seasons next year. So here's hoping we can keep these as they used to be, and a bit more kind of like comfortably and tightly kind of packed together and everything throughout the weeks and stuff. So yeah, on to the finale for next time. So yeah, but for now, that is it. So that was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5, Episode 21. So thank you guys, as always, so much for being here and for watching this episode. Feel free to leave a like and comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up for the finale, and any kind of, non-spoiler kind of thoughts you have, any kind of non-spoiler hopes you have, and all that kind of stuff, and how you feel going forward and stuff, and everything. So for those interested as well, the full-length reaction will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. And yeah, for now that is it. So until the next time, bye bye for now.